Welcome back to a new video. Today's video is on Only Murders in the Building, Season 4, Episode 10, entitled My Best Friend's Wedding, with the official synopsis being: the final answers to our season are revealed, but not before the trio faces mortal danger and an Arconia wedding. And before I give out my review, please like, subscribe, comment. All of my socials are down in the description, so give them a follow for more reviews. Season 4 has officially come to a close, with the murderer now being revealed, and as well as just Season 5's next victims. And I can't wait for Season 5, but before we get towards that, let's talk about this episode. As this episode was mostly an Arconia-based episode with a sprinkle of the West Tower and Hollywood being attached towards it, Sazz is given a lot of screen time in here, from being the episode's narrator to the various flashbacks about her career and her next ventures in life. Sazz did not deserve her fate. Yeah, you can say that she was definitely a little crazy, had done some wild things to Charles, but despite all of that, she did not deserve her fate with what she was given. As I did agree with the fact about how life is not a happy ending, as sometimes anything happens. But the episode begins where episode 9 ended off, where Marshall's true identity is revealed. And if you didn't think about it, this season's killer was indeed Marshall, or aka Rex Bailey, and his reasonings as in why he did what he did, I get it. It was simple. As Marshall, he had a traumatic childhood, as he always wanted to be a screenwriter, with his story being about how a huntsman turns his son into a huntsman. But as usual, Hollywood does not like anything that is new or that is just out of the ordinary, as no one did not want his script. He tried to become a good stuntman, but as mentioned by various people in the last episode, that incident just caused his career to be open and shut just like that. Sazz came up with the Only Murders in the Building script due to her association with Charles, and as well as just listening to the podcast, and Marshall just being that desperate with stealing Sazz's script, immediately selling it off to Paramount and it being greenlit is some foul mess, but not surprising with how some people in the industry will do that to someone, as Sazz did have her career and planned out. She was going to sell her script, make some money, and open up the Sazz Pataki trampoline business, Trampoline Academy. And it's just tragic that she will now not be able to do that. But the fact that he was the only man responsible to kill Sazz, go back to Charles's place to clean up the evidence, then place her body at the incinerator in under 20 minutes is still a little bit ridiculous. I do wish that he did have an accomplice to have helped him out, but given the explanation as in how he was able to do it, I'll accept it, but I do wish that there was more than one person involved with Sazz's death. But yeah, Marshall was this season's killer. I called it out many episodes ago, and how he is executed is pretty surprising. Jan being back in here was not surprising at all. I had a feeling she was going to come back. Some thought that she was going to sacrifice her life to save Charles, but the fact that she was the one to take out Marshall was just like, all right. But with Jan, I just had that feeling she is definitely going to be back. I don't know how, I don't know when, but Jan is definitely going to come back in this show. I also enjoyed the fact how this episode just teased us about Loretta being the next victim. I said many episodes ago that season 5's murder was going to take place at a wedding, and that there was a small chance that Loretta or Oliver's son was going to be the next victim. And the fact that the episode just kept teasing us about how something bad always happened with the next victim and how Loretta could possibly be that next victim, that was an interesting touch and an interesting just Easter egg, to say the least. As the Easter egg for this episode was just a cold brew of beer, as seen throughout various episodes, as seen in the intro. But this season definitely did have a lot of unanswered questions, as I do think that Marshall was the man responsible of sending Charles that text in episode 1 about saying, "I'm not your effing friend." But I don't think he is responsible for all of the cameras being installed in the trio's apartments, and as well as just the "I'm watching you" text. I think whoever has been staking out the trio since season 1 and has been trying to shut them up, I think that person is responsible. It is a little bit of a plot hole because I think he did have Sazz's phone, but the person that sent out those messages and the cameras, it's just a whole doozy that will probably be revealed next season or whenever the time is right. Like, what did Mabel ask in her life rights? Also, a lot of unanswered questions that's probably going to be revealed next season or whenever the time is right. But the wedding at the Arconia actually turning out to be a success was pretty surprising. Like, yeah, there was a huge scare at first with Loretta not being seen, thinking the worst had possibly happened. But for her to come with her son and Oliver's son, it was nice, it was sweet, it was wholesome, and I'm just glad that Oliver and Loretta are now married and they'll be able to live normally without any serious issues. But not all things are happy endings, as in the last episode, there was a news report about a guy being missing. Nicky the Caccimello, the dry cleaning king of Brooklyn. Téa Leoni is here as his wife, Sophia, asking the trio to help her in order to solve her husband's missing case. But a part of me is now just looking and thinking about how this all ties in with the next season's victim, as we do find out who is season 5's official victim, none other than Lester the doorman. And I'm surprised, I am shocked, but at the same time I am interested, because I'm just now curious to see how Lester's life is, what Lester was doing, and just how this all ties back into Nicky the Caccimello. Because a small theory that I have is that these two cases are going to tie in somehow with the mob and with just the crime family, or just different crime families for season 5, and as well as just the dry cleaning industry, in my opinion. But that is how the next victim was revealed, and that is how season 4 officially ended. When it comes to season 4, I felt that season 4 was the most craziest season out of all of the seasons, because there was a lot going on with just the Arconia, the West Tower, and as well as just Hollywood being in here too. Like, there was a lot going on, and the possible number of suspects was through the roof. Performances by all of the actors, actresses were all great throughout the season, with the trio, Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez, all giving out good performances with their characters, and as well as just the actors, Eva Longoria, Zach Galifianakis, Eugene Levy, they all did well. Also, Molly Shannon as Bev, she was interesting, but I did suspect her a couple of different times as well as possibly being responsible and accomplice with Marshall / Rex for Sazz's death. with the next victim now being revealed as Lester. I am now interested in seeing what was Lester doing in his lifetime, because there are still a lot of unknown secrets at the Arconia, such as the different passageways, possible hidden murders, and with him now being dead, I do think that there is a possibility that his death and the missing Nicky the Caccimello are going to be tied in. A part of me thinks that Lester did have some ties with the mob, with a crime family, and maybe a crime family, a mob boss was responsible for Lester's death. I don't know how, I don't know whenever season 5 is released, but that is my early predictions, that Lester had some ties with a mob or a crime family, and that his death and Nicky the Caccimello are going to be tied in somehow, not only with just the Arconia, but also with just the dry cleaning businesses and anything else that we don't know of as of yet. But yeah, season 4 though, it was crazy, non-stop. And I don't know if there is a Moriarty type of character, because we still don't know who left that note at Jan's place, who poisoned Winnie the dog. And I am now thinking that this person is also responsible for that I'm watching you text, and as well as just installing cameras at the trio's apartments. I don't think Marshall is responsible, because he may be a killer. I don't think he's a smart killer, to say the least. But we'll just see for next time for season 5. If I were to give season 4 a rating, I would give season 4 of Only Murders in the Building an 8 out of 10. So thank you for watching. See you in season 5.